Hey, Zeke.
See?
Did you know that today's show is sponsored by CaskCartel.com?
Maybe.
When you're sitting at home at night and it's late, the liquor store's closed, you're bored, you're on the couch, you're like, I'm all out of my Wheatley vodka, or I'm all out of my gin. You got to get more. Or maybe it's your whiskey. Whatever it is, CaskCartel.com will get it shipped right to your door. They have some store picks, even though it's not a lot. There's some Breaking Bourbon picks on there. This is not going to be the place you go to get crazy bourbon and crazy whiskey. But if you want some good daily drinkers, be it bourbon, be it gin, be it vodka, tequila, mezcal, whatever it is, go to CaskCartel.com. They are changing the industry. They're like the Amazon of the spirits industry. You know what that means, Zeke?
I know what Amazon is.
So you know how Amazon is not the one who's actually doing the selling? They're kind of getting stores. They're a place to bring stores together with the consumer.
I mean, I hit this pay button on the Amazon.com.
Yeah, it goes through Amazon, but there is another store that is actually fulfilling that order.
Okay, yes.
So that's what Cask Cartel does, so that you can sit on the couch with one hand and order your liquor.
One hand, you say?
Yeah, CaskCartel.com. Follow them on Instagram, CaskCartel.com, or also follow them on Facebook. Another thing I have to tell you before we start the show, it's a secret.
You got a lot on your forehead today.
Why?
Well, you just keep telling me stuff.
But it is a secret, and the secret is out. If you are a distillery, you probably already know the secret. DistilleryProducts.com has the best prices and selection around for your engraved, laser-etched glass needs. They have all your Glencairns. They are the only place in America that is a wholesaler where you can get the neat glass. They have the Tua glass, and that is an Irish whiskey tasting glass. It's a total secret. The people that knew about them, the way that I found out about them was distilleries. And they have great wholesale products that you can engrave. That's what we use for all of our glasses on the show. DistilleryProducts.com. They have flasks, glasses, all sorts of cool stuff. If you want to put a brand on it or a logo on it, if you are a bourbon group, if you are a store, if you are a distillery, you are missing the boat if you are not using DistilleryProducts.com. And we thank them for providing all of our glassware on Dad's Drinking Bourbon.
Might be a tough move with the Tua glass here in the South.
Is that like a football reference?
Yeah, Alabama's quarterback. He goes by the name of Tua.
Well, I have Threa.
Well, Kentucky's Threa ain't going to beat Alabama and Tua.
No. DistilleryProducts.com. Check them out. Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards, and with me is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. Hello, Zeke Baker.
Hello, John.
How are you?
Alive and kicking.
Very excited today for 3 reasons. The first one is that Walt from Radnor is here. The second one, Walt's daughter made us this meat and cheese plate that is amazing. Charcuterie. And we're going to give her some props here in a second. But the third thing is that our very own Matt Damon, the guy who we always want to have on the podcast, but we never have enough time. I don't know how Walt smuggled him in a suitcase.
Well, don't count your chickens for the hatch. He hasn't spoken yet.
He's looking at us.
Just saying, just because you're in the building to the room, it doesn't count till you go live.
It is his bedtime. He's looking at his watch.
Well, guys, it was a fun episode. I really enjoyed my time here. I hope you guys have a good one.
The one, the only, the man behind Tree Fitty, the man behind And It's Gone, the man behind Fuck Cancer, Michael Hinds, the one, the only. Thank you so much for coming.
Boy, that's a big intro.
I know. I thought he was going to run out of breath.
Yeah, no, I'm impressed.
I'm a big guy. I have a lot of hot air.
Yeah.
I can keep going.
We're good.
Walt, you coming on as well. This has been something that's been years in the making. We've wanted to sit down with you for a long time. thank you for staying up past your bedtime. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, I'm honored to be here. I have enjoyed meeting y'all and becoming friends, and I'm glad to sit here and break a little bread with you and talk some whiskey.
Absolutely. And before we get into talking whiskey, let's talk about actually how we broke bread. Now, your daughter makes these charcuterie boards. It's Mag's Meals on Instagram, right?
That's correct.
Now, this board had, Zeke, what was it, like cut up salami? And
It had a lot of things that were really good.
I know, but I'm trying to actually describe this for people.
Well, you took pictures.
I did take pictures. It's on our Instagram, but there were some brie. There were blackberries. There's
She toasted some almonds.
Whatever
with
this
pine
honey
nuts.
concoction thing is with the whatever on top.
Oh, the bourbon honey with the
red pepper flakes.
You really add a lot to this, Zeke.
I know.
You really bring it.
Hey, I mean, it was good. It is good. I'm still working on it.
This kind of makes you want to do a moon saw, doesn't it?
Look here now.
Y'all hear about that? Zeke thought the wrestling move moonsault.
Oh, God.
He thought his whole life he thought it was a moon saw.
Is it not?
Exactly. I mean, it's a moonsaw.
It's a moonsault, like a somersault.
I've never heard any of those announcers put the T in their enunciation of that.
They are from the South.
I know. It's just they're
Yeah,
redneck.
I was going to say, where are they from?
Zeke had his whole childhood crushed when I explained to him that it was a moonsault, not a moonsaw.
Even worse, like I knew immediately if it was for once. Like, yeah, Edward's just kind of like trolling me to see if he can get away with something here. Like he's being dead serious, and for 30-something years now, still I will call it a moonsaw. But
Speaking of a moonsaw right into this charcuterie board, there was some other type of cheese. We don't know what type of cheese it was.
No.
There was brie and there was another type of cheese. It was good. There's salami and then there was some ham. It's almost like a prosciutto type meat, but a little bit thicker. The almonds,
Pickled
other
cucumbers.
sort of pickled cucumbers, and she'll deliver these to your house.
She
won't
will.
You know, it's game day. And you don't want to put together a spread for your people or your Michael Hinds, and you never know the people that you are entertaining at your apartment. The chewing on the air is great. You're really adding to this show, Matt Damon. But if you never know who you're going to be having over and you're entertaining guests and you have, you know, and you're unlike us and you have distillers that are showing up in your private residence, then... You know, maybe you want to reach out to Mag's Meals and get something done for you.
It's delicious.
Absolutely.
Good job, Mag.
Love you, Sweet Pea.
fine job. I don't have anything else I can say other than I just want to keep eating it.
I know we're having a hard time actually recording because all we want to do is eat this. And we know when we're done and Walt has to take this board away, we're just trying to get everything in now as we can.
Hey, y'all can keep the board. Just bring it back to me.
No,
It'll be empty before you leave.
Easily the least amount of bourbon that's been consumed before a show.
I know we have all this stuff on the table. We have And It's Gone. We have a lion's share Willet bottle. We have the 350 Willet bottle. We have the Pinhook Bourbon War. We have Fuck Cancer 3, the Wilderness Trail bottle. All this stuff's on the table, and I think we've maybe had a sip. We've just been sitting around eating the food.
Yep.
But Walt, before we start talking about the whiskey, what I do want to say is this Friday night, the 27th, Bacon and Barrel at Green Door Gourmet in Nashville, Tennessee. Zeke and I will be doing a live podcast. If you don't have your ticket yet, go to baconandbarrel.com. There's going to be over 40 bourbon and whiskeys to drink and over 20 restaurants that are making pork and bacon style dishes. Again, that's baconandbarrel.com. Go ahead and check them out. Really looking forward to that one.
Saturday's going to be a mean case of the meat sweats.
Well, funny about that, Saturday, you're leaving me, but I'm driving out to East Tennessee to Pigeon Forge, and I will be podcasting at the Old Forge Heritage Days. So me and Keener Stanton, we're actually going to play the guitar a little bit. Keener is
That truck here has got leather seats.
Yeah.
Man.
Keener is the distiller at Old Forge. So they asked if I'd play the guitar with them a little bit. They'd asked if we'd podcast. So we'll be there. We'll be talking to people. Go ahead and check us out. Go out to Old Forge Heritage Days if you live out in East Tennessee. That's all the admin stuff I have to talk about. We were talking about this Pinhook Bourbon War. I think there's kind of two things that we should get out of the way quick on this show. Walt and Mike, tell us a little bit. A couple months ago, we all got together. We did something at Mike's house, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got together, and what did we taste? About 8 different samples of Pinhook.
I think it was more like 18.
I may have stopped at 8. but yeah, it was us and Barrels and Brews guys, and actually my son was there, and then
404 Kitchen, Chef Bolus.
Yep, Matt was there, and then we went and all broke bread together afterwards.
No glasses were broken, though, luckily. Or did John break one?
I didn't.
No, I think it was good this time.
Finally.
It was no Hulk smash.
No, actually, I think we went through 18 samples, and I know that Barrels and Brews and Walt and all of us, with those 2 of them, we really liked. So I'm really excited about seeing these come in the next week.
1 bourbon, 1 rye, and we actually got the email a couple days ago. These are being bottled. They're ready to go. They will be coming to Nashville. It kind of is nice that it's coming off the heels of Bourbon War, coming to Nashville, the first of Pinhook's vertical. It's a 4-year MGP. They'll be releasing one every year for the next 9 years, but this is a special pick for us. There's 1 bourbon, 1 rye. It's going to be called Breaking Bread. 404 Kitchen. It is Barrels and Brews. It is Radnor Wine and Spirits. It is Michael Hinds, and it is Dad's Drinking Bourbon. All together, Breaking Bread.
What a great pick.
Yeah, well, it was a great pick, but it was great fun.
Even better, we all agreed.
I mean, getting together and you're right.
Because we're all looking around like, all right, which one do you like? Which one do you like? And then, shit, did we really all hit the nail on the head for 2 separate picks? I mean,
well, at first it was like a test. No one was really talking, and then all of a sudden, yeah, I like this one. I like this one. Okay, great.
Honestly, I mean,
When
it was quick
hit,
too.
Yeah, when that one hit, though, we all knew instantly it was the winner.
The amount of time it took me, like literally 20 minutes, like Walt said, as soon as we all started talking, they were like, oh, well, we're all on the same page, I guess, somehow. So,
Well, I think we had, 18 samples, and Sean was running late, so we had, 30 minutes to pick.
Oh, that's right. You pulled out some of your private stuff for us.
Yeah, we were.
no, it was quick, but literally there was no debate or like second guessing. Nobody looked back as far as, did we do the right one? Like everybody was.
I think it was 9 bourbon, 9 rye, and they were Mike's Little Island. The bottles were all there. We each had a glass, and it was, all right, drink something real quick, rinse it out. Drink the next one real quick, rinse it out.
We'll need to post a picture of that with the release of this podcast, and as well with the release of the barrels.
When it comes in, yeah.
To show the amount of samples we had sitting there.
People kept moving them forward, if I remember. So it was like, out of the 9, it was like, all right, you really need to try these 3. If you haven't got anything, go ahead and try this one, this one, this one. On the rye, try this one, this one, this one on the bourbon, and we kind of narrowed it down that way.
Yes.
And these are actually the first and only barrel picks of Pinhook in Middle Tennessee that I'm aware of.
Yep. I know there's one in New Orleans.
A couple in Kentucky.
Couple in Kentucky.
I think these are definitely
Imagine
the first.
that.
Yeah.
And it's normally more of a John thing on aesthetics, but these new labels are dope.
Oh, absolutely. And it's waxed, and it tastes so much better waxed.
Well, you
Only
just
if you're
like
able the right amount in there when you're cracking the seal. It's a very fine line.
Well, you two, and by you two I mean Mike and Zeke. It's got that familiar bottle shape that you like with Willet. You know, it's that wine bottle turned bourbon bottle.
Yeah.
That you really like.
I mean, we have actually a Willet bottle sitting right next to, you know, if there wasn't a label on here, it could be hard to tell them apart.
Mike was like, you know what? These bottles seem to fit well on my shelf. I already have a bunch of them. We might as well get more.
I never even realized that, but you're definitely correct.
There is another pick that we all went on. Speaking of these 2 bottles next to each other, I think it's finally time that we spill the beans. What do y'all think?
Yes.
Who wants to do the honors?
I like spilling the cheese right towards my face.
All right, so I think that means Zeke's out. So, Walt, do you want to tell everybody what we did?
We went to Willet, and we were able to pick a couple of barrels.
Going into all the samples, this was one, I think we had 8 samples in total.
And all 8 were delicious.
These were all Willet's own distillate. This was all Colesvine's own own juice, if you will, and it was everything from rye to bourbons, a few different recipes, and
It was high rye, I think, at the very beginning. Then went to the OG. I mean, it kind of went through wheat. Did he have any wheat?
there's no wheat. I think we just had the OG. I think we
You
had
had high corn.
Oh, that was it.
but
It
it
was
was-
high rye, high corn,
That was
OG.
high-
I think
It
it
was
had to
high
be
entry
different.
proof.
It had to be the different entry proof because we were all sitting there looking at each other going, this is not where the high corn normally hits.
Yeah.
And then, rounding the curve, so to speak, or hitting the backstretch, was where the rise came in. And, for such a change of pace, still, though, I mean, and we've said it more than once that, granted, some of that's probably just nature, but Willett's rise just, it's a little bit further ahead than most of the bourbons. I'm not saying, anything negative, but that rye hit us a good spot quicker, just the nature of the grains. And then we kind of rounded that curve, and it's like, oh, man, well, now I'm torn not only between which one do I like, but do I want to go rye? Do I want to go bourbon?
Yeah, that's
And it's not like there was a wrong answer.
Now, John and Walt, those are actually a pretty good group that went on that pick as well.
Well, what I liked about that, Walt and his family and his crew were down on one side of the table. Then Mike was in the middle with Ashton. And just thanks to Ashton for putting everything together. And then Zeke and I were on the end, but in between Zeke and I was Mandy Vance from Four Roses. And that was just an incredible experience to be able to pick a barrel of Willett sitting with Mandy and just kind of talking to her about everything.
She's probably been on more barrel picks because she runs that than anyone, in the business.
Oh, no. I mean, it still cracks me up because, we're sitting there. And as we start getting these samples, she and I are, shooting the breeze, not even really talking about what we're drinking, just, this and that. And like, all right, well, what all's coming out here today? And I'm like, well, I think there's going to be a couple of barrels get picked. One for the store and then one for us. And she said, well, what's going to happen if you both want the same barrel? And I just said, Mandy, we're just happy to be here. We're going to take whatever we enjoy, and nobody's going to complain a damn word. She said, I wish people had that attitude.
But what I can say is, thankfully, Walt liked one thing and we liked the other.
Right.
And there was both of them were phenomenal. And it just so happened, and I'm not even lying about this, Zeke and I were over there whispering to each other, and you guys were over there, and we were like, all right, we like this one the best, but our backup, if Walt likes that one, is this other one. The one that he picked was our backup, and then we picked his backup.
Right.
So it just
Well,
worked.
I even said, this rye, this one right here is most likely the best pour sitting on the table. I just keep coming back to this bourbon because it's much more unique and not anything I have had or experienced in their pours. So that was really where the conundrum was this is unlike anything
Or the
I've
most
had.
unique.
I don't think it would beat it if I'm being honest to myself, and neither were bad. But that was the struggle of, well, which way? And then
I tended to. I mean, I think they were both phenomenal. I think they were tied. If you want my honest opinion.
I was on the Radnor that pick when I think I voted with Radnor and Susan, and that was, but I was my second was your pick. So I'll be excited to get them both back in and side by side them and revisit them. It'll be a good time.
We're gonna blind them, and I think Zeke and I are gonna win.
Well, it's not fair to
Oh yeah.
how are you going to blind a bourbon and a rye? This guy.
Yeah, that's like blinding chocolate milk and 2%. I mean,
We'll throw in a third in there, just about. We'll throw in another bourbon and another rye.
I think one of the great things about that whole experience was, Willett and Drew. It's a family-run business, and so is Radnor and Walt. So you don't have that big box fill when you walk into Radnor. Walt's usually behind the register, and he'll talk bourbon with you. So I really think that damn, Zeke. I'm watching him pour up this 3-finger sample.
That's only one and a half of my hands, buddy.
That must not be your bottle.
No, it's my bottle,
There
so
we go.
he's doing that.
Oh, when John breaks out bottles?
Hey, I don't take 3-finger pours like that from you. Only the ones you don't like, and you're like, hey, drink this off. But
It would be great to see, Radnor getting part of the Pinhook as well as a Willett. From Middle Tennessee, I think it's well deserved because he's done a lot of great picks and a lot of great things.
well, and I'm sliding you money under the table because that was a great segue, and you were going exactly where I wanted to go. For those of you that don't know, in Nashville, Tennessee, off Harding Place, the exit off 65, it is right off the exit is Radnor Wine and Spirits, and it was something that I didn't know about until a few years ago. And the reason I found out about Radnor, no lie, was that at the Whiskey House we had done this blind tasting of Bellmead, and Radnor won. It was a blind tasting of about 12 picks and when you could still readily have store picks of Bellmead around.
I miss those days.
I miss those days too because they were like $50-$60. Yeah. Everybody had them. There was the Barrels and Brews pick that got a lot of notoriety, but in town we also knew there was a craft brewed pick that was really good. There was the Radnor pick, and then we put them all together and did them blind, and the Radnor pick won. And that was my first time, no lie, walking into Radnor, because typically I had been more of a West Nashville guy and hadn't gone south besides, Carruthers and that kind of stuff. But it's an awesome store because you always have some picks out for people to get, but you have a huge wall. The wall to the right, as soon as you walk in, is just full of whiskey. So if you are a whiskey fan, the first thing you're going to see when you go into Radnor Wine and Spirits is just going to hit you in the face.
Well, thank you. That's something we really concentrate on. Obviously, whiskey has outpaced wine, vodka, obviously beer is our number one selling type.
What about the Fireball, though?
And Wheatley vodka. How's the Wheatley vodka?
Let me tell you something. Fireball keeps the lights on.
Hey.
And I'm not mad about that.
That and Smirnoff and Wheatley vodka.
Yes.
No one's complaining there at all.
So what made you get into running a liquor store in the first place? When did Radnor start? How did you get started?
All right. You asked the question.
Go ahead.
I bartended to pay bills in college. When I got out, I found a job at a 4-star restaurant. It's long gone, but Mario's. I wore a tuxedo to bartend. I got sick of that, realized my college degree was not helping me, so I went to work for a wholesaler, worked there for 9 years, got sick of that, wanted to do something for myself. I said, I'm either going to become a chef or own a liquor store. The Radnor opportunity came about, and almost 21 years later, I'm still there.
So do you wish you became a chef?
No, Lord, I would have eaten myself out of house.
So you look much less stressful when I see you in the store than if I imagined you being a chef at a restaurant.
Right.
Everything going on and all the moving parts and just all that's going to encompass.
I have loved the past 21 years, save for the first 5, because we really struggled. But, I learned how to run the business and learned how to get into bourbon and some different wines and beers, and I can help people when they come in.
That's a great story. I think we talked to a lot of different store owners. How crazy has it been for you with the bourbon boom? You have said things have changed. Did it take you a second to get prepared for it, or did you kind of see it coming?
Funny story. My brother-in-law, Kerry, owns Peg Leg Porker, and he told me 15 years ago, you need to get some Van Winkle. I was like, what the hell is Van Winkle? And so I got a 10-year-old Rip and 23-year-old Pappy. They were lined on the shelf. I still have pictures. Nobody would buy them. Times have changed.
Where do I put my request in, Walt?
Right. Well, hell, no. I remember Mike was only a Jack Daniels guy for years. I said, hey, I've got some of this Van Winkle. Do you want it? No.
That was about 2011, 2012. I was turning down. By 2013, though, that's...
Times changed.
Times changed. So, yeah.
I remember, I always say this, so I'm going to keep it brief, but all the stuff when I was at Kentucky, just all the stuff that was even in the grocery store. I wish I just had a bunker then, but I was young and broke and stupid.
When I met Walt, Walt's stores near my office, so I used to walk in just to buy Jack Daniels, but not like just regular black label. It'd be their limited release, which they only make, 150,000 of. So I would come in to hurry up and buy as much of that as I possibly could. 6 years later, it's in my storage unit if anyone knows anyone wanting to buy some Jack.
Well, I liked this week, Mike, you put up on your Instagram, you put that old picture of your Jack Daniels room.
Yeah.
And I love how there's a lot of California sports teams signed jerseys. In that
49ers, I mean, Joe Montana and the comeback kid, that Michael Jordan back in the 80s?
Didn't you have Magic on there too?
Yeah, that was actually pre-AIDS. You would have added that. Got you off guard with that one, huh?
I wasn't sipping anything, but his whole thing, this picture, and anybody who goes to Hinds Place now, and they see all the Willet on there, there's Four Roses, there's Pinhook.
It was Jack, and a lot of that Jack, that was just the standard shelf stuff, came from Radnor. I mean, when Sinatra came out,
Lord, I think you bought 4 cases of
more,
Sinatra.
Man, it was $8,000 of Sinatra the day it came out.
You weren't going to have enough?
Well, yeah, Walt said Fireball paid the bills. Well, that month, Jack Daniels Sinatra did.
Well, I took a picture of that receipt and sent it to my family. I said, "Oh, happy day."
Yeah.
You were like, I got this sucker.
All this booze in the store, and he's going for the Jack.
The Jack. Yeah, he passed on the old rip and went straight for the Jack.
Meanwhile, Walt's calling the distributor, get me any Sinatra you can. I think this guy will buy more.
Yeah, this guy's an idiot.
No, it was quite the opposite. I called the distributor and said, "Hey, I've got a good customer. Let me know when things come out." And it really was not. He's an idiot.
No, for heck, I think Walt and I for 6-7 years, kind of grown together, if you will. So once again, I was actually I was so impressed with his Belle Meade pick when I tried it that I actually bought it from the shelf and entered it into the blind because I was so confident that was such a good bottle.
You guys have picked a few together.
We have.
Yes, we have.
We have, yeah.
What else?
I think our first Russell's pick, you were there.
Yeah, and that one was delicious in my very biased opinion.
Lord, you may have helped me also on a Buffalo Trace. I mean, there have been several where I'll get a sample in and I'll call Mike, say, "Hey, stop by at lunch.
We've always lined up our palates, and Susan, he's got, I guess, is that your sister-in-law?
No, she's just
a
trusted employee.
Wow.
She's like family now.
Yeah,
she really
is.
And actually, every time we've ever tasted, her and I have 100% of the time have lined up.
Yeah.
Walt doesn't need me or anybody else. As long as he has Susan, she's like the secret weapon.
Well, you guys picked a few others together. Fuck Cancer. That was the Russells that we had actually, Hinds, we got together the other day and you busted out some of that. I forgot. That's a very special bottle, and it was just so good because...
Yeah, that original Russell's Fuck Cancer, there was a lot of meaning behind it, but even if you take that out and you just taste it, it's a really special bottle, and can't thank Walt enough for letting me do that pick, and he supported 100%, and the community really has, and I'm kind of sad I'm down to like 3 of them left.
And we are going to talk about that at the end because I want to make sure we put enough time into what you're doing. But I still have to talk about Radnor because, Walt, I think you're a genius in a lot of ways. Except
I do too, but
except for the sticker on your last pick of Russell's. And I feel like there have been better stickers.
Well,
I might have assisted with that, but
Mike,
I'm a Florida fan.
I know.
So this was tough because Walt's a big UT fan.
And I wanted to say, like, if you're catering to the Nashville community, you're probably doing a good job. If you're catering to anybody who went to any other school in the SEC, you're not doing a good job. So you want to tell everybody what it was.
it was 2016 Champions of Life. No, 2017 Champions of Life. Whatever, 2019 SEC champions.
And how's that working out for you?
There's a lot of season left.
It's not over yet. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
It breaks my heart.
The good thing is, though, they sold out of that pick before the season started.
That's right.
So if the season would have started, and you still had half of it, it'd probably still be sitting there.
But that pick, it had the quote, but you had the big T on it. And
the checkerboard, thanks to Mike, it spelled out Radnor.
Oh, there
In the
you
end
go.
zone.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw the T and I kind of said, all right, I'm in for next pick. I'm kidding. No, it was very good.
Hey, the good news, it was in the bottle. It wasn't a sticker. It was a great.
Oh, I'm
whiskey.
just ribbing you as a Kentucky fan. It was a great
So as a Florida fan, you should see, and I should actually post them on my Instagram, you should see the 3 other variations that I had provided. Because the other ones were the Champions of Life was a complete dig, and then, but you should have seen the other ones. As a Florida fan, Walt saw right through the other options.
What I want to talk about, because this is not, this is a show that's really more 4 friends sitting around having a good time together. Did you see the Tennessee player the other day who couldn't pick a landline up?
That's great. Yeah, he picked up the telephone.
He took the how they have the landline on the side. He took the whole landline and he put it up to his ear.
Barstool Sports has that now, so check them out. It's pretty good.
We'll find the video for you. Heinz is going to find the video before you leave. He took the whole landline, like the whole old telephone, put it up to his ear, thought he was talking. You see that, Zeke?
Maybe it was stuck to his glove.
That explains a lot about the season, though.
Right.
Although I do wonder, Mike, were you on the last Dickel pick?
I'm not a Dickel fan.
Me either.
I know.
I laugh because at one point, I think even you told me, Walt wants you to come by. He's got a pick he's real proud of. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. I'll go by. What is it? It's Dickel. I'm like, oh, man. Me and Dickel just don't get along too well. But open-mindedly enough, I'm like, all right, I'll give anything a whirl. I come home with a bottle, and I think I called Edwards first thing. I got home, cracked it, and just took a sipper off the top. I'm like, this Dickel is good.
You keep saying that. I need to try it because you've almost.
Walt, how long has it been there? And it is a diamond in the rough almost.
Lord, we got over 240 bottles.
It was only a 9-year, so I imagine it was a good yield.
And it's been a year.
No,
is there still some left?
Yes.
Honestly, as many people, and especially in this area, that love Dickel.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, this one blows the top off of probably any I've had.
Even in private conversation, Zeke says this. This isn't just fluffing.
It bewilders me because I'm I generally just don't like it, but that one is a damn good barrel. So kudos to you on that one.
Well, thank you.
The thing that gets me about that one is,
Oh my God!
You see him picking up the phone? It's the thing that gets me about that Dickel is Zeke brought that, so that was over a year ago. Because I don't think were we podcasting at that point.
Maybe not.
That might have been That might have been a while ago. That might have been.
No, we've done a few.
No, but that might have been 2017 before where we were just doing the Instagram live shows, and we weren't even doing the podcast then. My memory's going bad, but
just like his Bell Mead sat there, and all of a sudden people realized it was probably one of the best that ever came out of the distillery, and within a weekend it was gone.
Yeah.
So I'm almost kind of sad that Walt and Radnor's on the show because that just means a few more people to go in and makes it harder for me.
Hey, what other Sinatra's still going to be there?
Yeah. The Jack Apple.
Did you buy that?
No, not yet, but I will. I'll put it next to my Crown Peach.
Hey, I was going to say, he does have Crown Peach on the shelf. I saw that.
And I'm probably one of the few that does.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Whiskey of the Year next to that Harvest.
People say good things about that Crown Peach, though. Have you had it?
No.
I haven't either.
No.
I don't put umbrellas in my drink.
I am excited though. Zeke and I are going to do a WGW show. We're going to drink White Claw Truly and all sorts of things. We should have had that.
You should add some Scope mouthwash to this lineup.
Find White Claw?
I have some in the apartment.
It's impossible to get right now.
Nashville actually has Publix has White Claw in Nashville.
Well, if you saw my last
do they?
Instagram, 12th
Okay.
and Pine had this weekend. I walked over for some champs a little late, and they had one variety pack of White Claw left, and they had $100 price tag on it. And I asked the guy, I said, "This is obviously a joke for social media." And he looked me dead in the eye and goes, "No, this is my last one. I've already turned down $75." So I know these bachelorettes in the Gulch are probably freaking out right now. But this was true story.
Now, we're totally kidding, but if you're in the Nashville area and you need some White Claw, you go south of town, it's very plentiful down here.
I've actually heard of Publix and all that.
That guy looks mean, too.
He wasn't negotiating at all. Not that I wanted him.
We have a standing order for double-digit cases every week of White Claw. It's been 2 weeks since we've been able to get it. They say it won't be back until sometime in October.
I can't wait till White Claw hits the secondary market. There's a secondary market
Although,
for
what
White
if
Claw.
It'd be
White
great in this
Claw
box.
comes back the same time as the spicy chicken sandwich?
Oh, man.
It's going to be a rough week.
What do? Do you go to the gas station or do you go to Popeyes?
Hey,
Both.
I'm looking forward to the McRib.
Is it almost McRib week?
I think, week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like fall in Nashville. There's a week of McRib and there's a week of fall.
Isn't there an app that actually tracks who has McRibs?
I'm sure there is.
I just talk
I
to
act
John
like I
on a
don't
regular
know.
basis.
Yeah. He'll tell you.
I allow myself one per year. And first week it's out, I get a McRib.
Yeah, you got to get one. Just make sure quality control is the
I
same
haven't
every
had a
year.
McRib in like 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the next lunch date. Sorry,
guess
John.
so.
I don't think I've ever had a McRib.
That's why you're not as tall as the rest of us.
Oh, with the zing.
Man.
Yes.
I knew I should have left already.
You know, I don't think I've ever had a McRib.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. I don't think I've ever had a McRib.
Let's plan a day.
All right.
A whole day.
We can
We'll make it magical.
We can hold hands and
Can we play in the play place?
You've never had a McRib?
I don't think I've ever had a McRib.
With the fake ribs and fake sauce?
I don't think I've ever had it.
Man,
wow.
Moonsaw!
that's I've had a McRib though.
I'm just saying, I don't think I've ever had a McRib.
I think it's almost like baseball. It's American, right? I think you have even vegetarians eat McRibs once a year.
I mean, if you want to get really bold, I remember one year I got them and it had like the 2 for whatever price. But I was trying to limit my bread intake, so I just doubled up the patties in the middle. Man, it was messy. Stuff went everywhere, but I was not productive the rest of that day.
I guess Zeke, we have a lunch date now.
You guys do that a lot. It's cute. I like it.
It's fun.
Walt, what other picks do you have at Radnor right now?
We have an old elk. You know, it's not from Kentucky, but it's in the bottle. Like I said, it's really good.
We love Old Elk, and that 34% malt really makes it an easy drinker, even at the higher proof. So we're big fans of Old Elk.
Obviously, we have the Dickel we talked about. We've got a Knob Creek rye that is just absolutely delicious.
So lots of good stuff at Radnor, and I know you're picking more because pretty soon you're going to have a Pinhook and a Willet, and hopefully the 4 of us and Susan will be picking some more together.
And we picked we're talking about 4 Roses. We've got a 4 Roses coming.
Oh, nice. I missed that somehow.
We'll talk to you after the show. I don't think there's a 4 Roses coming to Radnor. Don't worry about it, guys.
Yeah. Oh,
You can edit that out.
Yeah. I'll edit it out. But no, I mean, or a couple cases fell off the back of the truck. Either way, right?
Right.
What recipe is it? I'm putting you on the spot.
you are.
It starts with an O, though. And then it has
And it has a B in it.
and it has an S.
It's the floral OF. I wish I had my cheat sheet in front of me.
I can't ever keep up just because even with the recipes, the range on them from time to time is tough. But
I always have my Four Roses cheat sheet handy.
OBSF.
Actually, I think even the Crusaders, I think we picked a OBSF.
no, they've got a run going now.
Yeah, there's actually, it was pretty damn good.
So we'll be looking forward to that at Radnor. Something that kind of spins off of Radnor that I want to talk to Mr. Hinds about is you have been doing a lot of work. We know of a lot of your charity bottles like Fuck Cancer, but you are now working with Bourbon Charity. You want to tell us a little bit about that organization and what you are doing with them?
Yeah, Brandon actually formed Bourbon Charity not too long ago, and it's because of some personal experiences and some tragic events in his life, and that really hit home with some of the things that I go through and we all go through. So it was kind of great. We talked, and it's really good to be able to use bourbon to raise money for things you're passionate about. You know, I've had people like Walt and Barrels and Brews and even Dash Drinking Bourbon. They've been really supportive of just using bourbon to give back. Bourbon does do a lot of negative and can ruin life, so it's great to see it actually, do something good.
Now, Bourbon Charity had a big Father's Day giveaway. Do you know how much money they raised for that Father's Day giveaway?
It was $75,000 for the Father's Day giveaway. Yeah,
That's awesome.
It really was, because it was kind of out of the blue, and we've got a 6 millionth bottle from Buffalo Trace. So I know
there's a big Thanksgiving Day giveaway that's going to be coming up, right?
That's correct, and I know Brandon's got some big plans for it, and I'm going to do whatever I can to kind of help facilitate and push that along. But hopefully we'll hit six figures this year on it.
And people can find Bourbon Charity at bourboncharity.org. They are on Instagram at Bourbon Charity. They are also on Facebook at Bourbon Charity. So the way that this kind of works is there's 5 organizations, I think, that Brandon...
Right now, there's 5 different organizations. One's kind of a military branch. One's a cancer branch. There's a lot of different avenues. But we're kind of also expanding to not to limit ourselves. We're kind of lone wolfing it in the sense that if there's an organization or something that we really see needs a push, then we're going to put our resources towards it. I know that Brandon is in Thomas Dobb locally, kind of joined the board with Bourbon Charity, and we've got a lot of bottles and special barrels that are going to be only available via bourboncharity.org.
Which one of those was Fuck Cancer 3, which was a very special thing that you did with Wilderness Trail, and they had actually set aside some barrels for you for that, so they kind of saw what you were doing with the other ones and took up on the cause. You want to talk a little bit about that barrel?
Yeah, so I met Shane and Pat at ACS, an American Cancer Society event, actually Wilt to Be Cured last November. It was a Crusaders event. And I met Shane and Pat from Wilderness Trail, and those guys are just salt of the earth. I mean, some of the best guys you'll ever meet in this industry. So they kind of saw what we were doing, and I reached out to them, and they jumped on board. And if you haven't had time to check out what we've done, once again, you can probably check Dad's Drinking Bourbon, their Instagram, or even bourboncharity.org. We did a really special Wilderness Trail that came in a gift box, and really a special bottle, really pretty packaging, and even beyond that, the barrel that they rolled out for us to try that we ended up picking was a special barrel to them as well.
I know that everybody that has had that has said amazing things. I know, when we said on our Instagram that we had you on along with Walt, the comments were already coming in. Everybody knows that when Hinds picks a barrel, it's a special barrel. That's why we're happy to,
That's way too kind.
Well, a lot of people, you're getting infamous out there between And It's Gone and these are just the ones that people have seen now. Those of us that really know you know that there's a hell of a lot of other barrels that you have been a part of that are heavy hitters that Instagram has not seen, and I'm going to keep them nameless so I still have a chance of actually getting them. But And It's Gone, this box that you put together for the fall of BSM is crazy good. I'm not even going to describe it on this podcast because all anybody needs to do is go to our Instagram. We've had it on there, and we'll have it on there again. Just all I gotta say is
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, one last thing just about Bourbon Charity. I know that Dad's Drinking Bourbon, has a Willet pick coming in, some others as well. And I know Radnor and I'm thinking and I'm hoping that they'll all at least donate a case to putting them on the spot here to actually raise money for charity on it as well. I think that'd be a great thing. So what do you think, John?
100%. Zeke?
Yeah, your allocation.
So John is now down to negative 4 bottles.
I think anything we can do to be a part of it, how much, cancer and being charitable. We still have, every year we do our Make-A-Wish giveaway. There's other things that we like to get involved with. I can say that we are doing an event, the Nashville Whiskey Weekend in December with the L5 Foundation and the Tennessee Distillers Guild. So we'll be a part of that event. So I think there is a common goal for the people at this table that bourbon is a great thing, the community is a great thing, but using that community to give back is even better.
Well, absolutely. I know that y'all's pick that you let me have a case that everything above and beyond cost, I donated to cancer. My wife lost her father to cancer. So it meant a lot to me to be able to write a check to the leukemia and lymphoma. Yes.
So I think we're all in.
Awesome. Well, guys, if you're listening, get involved out there. I mean, you don't have to go do a big fundraiser. You don't have to raise $1 million. But seriously, just even if it's $10, get involved and do it as a birthday gift for someone if you need to.
And the last thing I want to put you on the spot on before you go, so there's the event that the Crusaders is doing in November. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about that? Because they can get tickets to that event right now.
Correct. They just went on sale last week, and it will probably sell out, I assume, this week. Last year it was Will It To Be Cured. This year it's Barrel Through Hunger. So we have Four Roses as our main sponsor. And the cool thing about this is that Brent Elliott and the guys and girls at Four Roses, for an auction item, have donated the oldest barrel pick to be done. So this will be a live auction event with Fred emceeing, where the oldest picks, they'll roll out the oldest barrels ever for a private pick. So that's one of the cool items, along with a Wilderness Trail barrel will be auctioned off. Foolproof, and all this is going to actually go to some local food banks in Kentucky.
That could be very interesting, considering I think Brent said more than once now that they're possibly sitting on the oldest stocks of anybody at this point.
And I've actually heard through rumors that some of that old stock is actually ending up in just a regular yellow label.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh.
Yeah, because they don't know what to do with it.
I bet the four of us can find something to do with it.
Exactly.
Well, I think some
So
of
if
it
you're
might be
listening-
oaky.
Right, yeah.
And the stuff that they're tasting and they're like, this is over oaky, they're putting it in with some of the younger stuff and blending it and coming up with something good.
That profile they're looking for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, probably another week or so left. It's going to be November 9th in Louisville at the Mint Julep Tours. It's going to be a great event raising money for charity. So, come on out and support it.
I do have to say, I thought we'd talk for half an hour. It's almost been an hour. So I want to say, Walt, Mike, thank you guys so much for coming. Walt, tell everybody where the folks can find you.
We're at the corner of Trousdale and Harding Place. There's a Mapco, Mamma Mia's. We're in a strip center. Actually, if you put it in your GPS, I think it lands you in the middle of the road. But
You're not there.
But we are in the strip center where Mapco and Mamma Mia's is.
Perfect. And you are on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Radnor, kind of.
I'm not a Facebook person.
Mags
I probably-
Mills, are you listening?
Mags Meals should be taking over Radnor
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
Instantly. Put her on payroll, Walt.
But if you come in and you sign up with our email, we will send you out our specials every week. Whatever we've got going.
Well, and too, I think all the the picks we talked about as well. If somebody wants to come in and get a light thimble sized pour of that, and
Yep.
and see if we're right or wrong before they make a purchase. That's also a possibility.
Absolutely.
I do know a guy who knows how to use Instagram, and if he can get his allocation up from -4, he might be willing to do some work. On the
Maybe
side.
we could do.
Maybe we could get you to even.
Yeah, maybe I can get back to even. Well, thank you so much for coming in. We've loved having you, and we hope it's the first of many times.
Oh, absolutely. I have enjoyed this so much tonight.
Oh, there is a McRib in your future, big boy.
Maybe.
That's right.
Michael Hinds,
John
thank
Edwards.
you for coming in. It's been a pleasure. How can the folks find you?
You want to basically find me on Instagram at @abushong. Message me.
You may have to spell that out.
Anybody who wants one of his pics, his Instagram handle is ABUSHONG.
That's how you sign up. Message me as many times. The more you message me, the more bottles you get.
You like pics too, don't you? Like, if someone sends you a pic, in
maybe
a DM.
eggplant.
Yeah. Just
The more eggplant emojis you send me,
anyways, and also Bourbon Charity. They can find you through that. Bourbon Crusaders. Anything else you want to plug while you're here?
No, and once again, I think that thanks for having us on, and I'm sure I'll see you guys soon.
And thank you for everything you did to help us get that Willet pick. I think I just want to make sure we say from the dads.
Absolutely. And me. That was a great day.
That was a great day, and we thank you for just putting in a good word. I know I tried to bribe them with T-shirts up at the gift shop, but I know that a good word from Michael Hinds goes a long way, so thank you for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Zeke, the folks can find us on Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads. Find us on your favorite podcast app, Apple, Google Play, Stitcher, Podknife, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, whatever it is, we are on it. Please leave us an open and honest review, just like we leave an open and honest review about all the whiskey we drink. But those reviews really help us because it helps other people find us. And we appreciate you guys sitting through this, which is just 4 guys sitting around sharing pours and talking. We didn't really review whiskey tonight, but there are time and a place for everything, Zeke, right?
Indeed, and I'm sure anyone listening to this has been in the same spot where sometimes you just have some good bottles and some good people and a damn good cheese charcuterie plate, and an hour or two slips away, and all there is smiles and less food and bottles.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Cheers.
Cheers.